Hello and welcome back to the True Crime Guys podcast. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Michael.
What's up, Mike? Damn. It is a Saturday night.
I just wanted to try something different.
It is a Saturday night. We usually record on a Friday morning, like the ass crack of dawn. Freaking roosters are going.
Yeah, that's true. We got more energy.
We got some Miller High Life in front of us. We're living it up.
That's right.
I just got back from the dirty South, Atlanta, to be exact. My cousin just graduated from the Army. Well, from boot camp at least. Congratulations, Robbie.
Congratulations. Graduated from the Army.
Yeah.
He's officially the Army.
He's officially government property. Congratulations.
Yeah. Have fun.
Support the troops.
Thank you, though.
Appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And so I had fun down there. It's a beautiful country. Definitely a lot different from Vegas. And I'm ready to start podcasting about murder again.
Let's do it, man.
We got a lot of stuff at the end of the show. Stick around for the shout-outs and for the Creeper giveaway. It's finally come time to give away 2 sets of badass headphones from Kicker.com. So stick around for the, we're going to do a drawing, and we already have one that was our favorite that we picked out that's getting headphones. So stick around for that, and a big announcement at the end of the show as well. So without any further ado, let's get into some murder.
Let's do it.
Some murder. Some murder.
It's the eve of what would have been her wedding, and like many brides-to-be, she might be going over last-minute details. Instead, the family of 24-year-old Annie Lee has called off her Sunday nuptials set to take place in New York. Of her upcoming wedding, Lee wrote on her Facebook page, "Lucky I'm in love with my best friend." Police say Lee's fiancé is not a suspect and is assisting with the investigation. Meantime, more than 100 investigators are scrambling for clues to her disappearance. She was last seen Tuesday at her laboratory in the Yale Medical School complex. Her purse, cell phone, credit cards, and money were found in her office. Investigators are examining security camera footage from some 75 cameras near the building where she was last spotted. They had not yet found any footage of her leaving the building.
All right, our case this week was the murder of Annie Lay. It was a highly publicized case, and I do want to just make a quick disclaimer that it is Annie Lay, but it is spelled L-E. And a lot of the research you see online on a lot of YouTube clips you watch on this case and stuff, people say Annie Lee, and I get caught up saying Annie Lee. I've been studying this case for a week now, and I keep thinking Annie Lee in my head because of the way it looks, but she is Vietnamese, and the way it's pronounced, from what I understand, is Lay. So we're going to try and say it properly. It's probably going to come out Lee a bunch of times, but we just want to make that known that Lay, sorry.
People know that we mess up a lot of shit, so we probably didn't even need to say this.
If you're listening to True Crime Guys podcast and you're expecting everything to be phonetically perfect, it's probably not going to come out. I probably said that word wrong.
Yeah, probably. Spell it.
I can't.
All right, so she was born July 3rd, 1985.
Yeah.
And she shares a birthday with Tom Cruise and Olivia Munn.
It's good company. I mean, good-looking company.
That's good. Why ain't it just good company, Lauren?
I don't know. They're a little weird. Tom Cruise, a little weird.
Is he?
I'm not going to say much about Scientology because they'll be knocking at my door in no time.
Right.
But, yeah, like you said, Annie Lee, born July 3rd, 1985, in San Jose, California. She was born to a really wholesome, great Vietnamese family. Vietnamese-American family, I should say.
Right.
She spent her childhood with her aunt and uncle in Placerville, California. Girl.
Why was that? Why did she spend her childhood with them?
I don't know.
That's strange.
Everything I read is just that's where she grew up.
Just better opportunities out there, probably.
Yeah, and then she would end up moving to the East Coast later on for schooling.
Right.
She was a brilliant mind, though. That's one thing that is going to stick through this whole case. She's just
her whole life she was a standout in school, academically.
Yeah,
just above and beyond.
Valedictorian of her graduating class at Union Mine High School. She was voted one of 2 students to be the next Einstein at her high school. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. But isn't that just like
what would you have been voted if you were?
Actually, I did get a superlative.
Did you?
In high school, yeah.
What was it?
Most talented.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
For real.
I can't see it.
I know, right?
I almost got voted best eyes. I was on the top 5. Damn. I'm not lying. Wow. Half of the votes I was going around and jockeying for. I was like, check out my eyes.
Check out my eyes. Look at these names.
Yeah.
Gazing at these bitches for a second.
Right. I was nowhere near being voted the next Einstein, but I was no Annie Lay either.
Nah, me neither.
After earning approximately $160,000 in scholarship money, she attended and graduated from University of Rochester.
Damn, that's a lot of freaking money.
160K.
Yeah.
I haven't even made
That's a
that
lot
much
of
since high
scholarship
school.
money. Yeah,
Let alone been
you
given.
have.
Dude, hyperbole. Come on.
Oh, sorry.
Her major was cell developmental biology with a minor in medical anthropology.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to understand
I was
what.
about to say, I'm going to
what
pretend I know what that is.
Right. Developmental biology and medical anthropology.
Yeah.
Basically, she's a kid genius at this point. Going on and
She's smart.
she's going to be doing a lot of good things.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And so then after her graduation at Rochester, the University of Rochester, she then applied and was accepted into a graduate program at Yale that would have led her to be earning a doctorate in pharmacology.
Right. And we're just saying all this stuff to just emphasize what an important person this could have been.
Important for
world.
human
What kind of,
advancement. In society.
advancement, what kind of changes she could have made to society, what kind of, positive
She could have
things she could have
saved
put out there.
future lives medically, like with the research she would end up doing.
Right. I think this backstory is very important to this story. It's important to why the story has become so well known
Right.
and so famous.
Yeah.
This is not just a normal backstory, of a victim that we typically give. Like this is for a purpose.
Right.
All this success that she had in her life. This is a person who showed extreme promise.
Yeah. Potential through the roof.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, like we said, she would then get accepted into Yale. Her research had applications in the treatment of diabetes, muscular dystrophy, and certain forms of cancers. So,
Wow. Yeah.
just talking about what you were just going on
Absolutely.
about.
Right.
Important future work ahead of her. She was due to be married on September 13th, 2009, in Syosset, New York. Sorry if I butchered that. I've never heard of that town before. To Jonathan Widowski. He was a graduate student in applied physics and mathematics at Columbia University. Also another bright mind.
right.
They had actually gone to school together in Rochester and become sweethearts. And
Aw.
from everything I heard, they were a perfect couple together. Like they're
Right.
just meant to be brilliant minds. They probably would have made the next Einstein. If she wasn't going to be the next Einstein, these two together would have made some kind of
Would
a
have created the Einstein.
right. This kid would be just I don't even know.
So smart.
I'm too dumb to even think about what this kid could do.
Yeah. Like super smart.
Like out of the womb, smarter than I could ever be.
Yeah, probably.
While at Yale, she would actually write an article for the school's magazine titled "Crime and Safety in New Haven." It was published in February of 2009. And in this, I read the whole article. I actually
Right.
looked up the article she wrote, and it's a lot about crime at the school, how it's spiked recently. We've talked about it with Vegas.
Yeah.
But I guess during this time in 2009, there was a lot of auto thefts that were going on the school premises, and she was comparing it to other Ivy League schools like
Right,
Harvard
right.
and stuff, and she was saying that there was, per student, there was like way more carjackings and stuff like
Right.
that going on in the area. So she was a person that was keen to crimes in the area,
So
and she was
ironic.
trying to, she'd actually sat down with the sheriff and talked
Right.
about ways to help students prevent these things happening to them, which is kind of weird when you find out what's going to happen later
yeah.
on in this story. And it just makes it sting a little even more,
Yeah,
like
it
this
does.
brilliant mind, and then she's also
She's also aware. She's not oblivious. Just
Right.
Einstein going about her perfect
She'd
world.
actually
She
had
knows what's out there.
one of her friends at the time would come out later and talk about the fact that she had warned her, being lay, had warned her about crossing this certain bridge near the school and how don't do that alone, and this, it's a
Right.
sketchy area over there, and it's just kind of weird how things work out sometimes.
Wow.
All right, so things are going along in her life. She's gotten into the school she wants to go to. She's doing research at Yale. She's got a man she loves. She's scheduled to be married.
Yeah.
Although
Life's
there was a
looking up.
lot of talk about there being some cold feet there,
Oh, really?
which we'll get into in a little bit. But she
On
had
which
made
side?
she had made some calls on her side. She had
Oh,
made
yeah.
some calls to one of her close friends, her best friend at the time. She had
Yeah.
made calls to about, I don't know if I can do this. I'm so young, yada yada.
Right. Right.
Nonetheless, on the morning of September 8th, Leigh had some stuff planned for her day. She left her apartment and took Yale Transit to the Sterling Hall of Medicine on the Yale campus at about 10 a.m. She walked from Sterling Hall to another campus building at 10 Amistad Street. You're going to hear more about 10 Amistad Street. This is where her
Right.
research laboratory was located. She would spend many days here just doing research. Even on weekends, she would be in there in this lab because she was a go-getter. She was
Right.
she was one thing you'd hear a lot is very disciplined. You don't get that She was also gifted mind, but like discipline.
You don't get where she's at without discipline.
Absolutely.
You can be a genius, but
There's
if you're a lazy ass, you ain't getting there.
There's a lot of gifted minds that go to waste. You know, this was not one. This was like Jerry Rice, like talent and go-getter, you know.
Jerry Rice, huh?
I mean,
I know,
I'm
you're
dumb.
a
All I can
49er
relate
fan.
things to is football.
Jerry Rice, one of the great minds of our time.
One of the great athletes, okay? It's an analogy.
Okay.
Get with it. All right, so she had made her trip to the Amistad building to do research, and like we said, this is the morning of September 8th. She had left her purse, cell phone, credit cards, and cash in her office at Sterling Hall, so the nearby building.
Right.
She entered the Amistad Street building just after 10 a.m., and this is where you can see a famous image. If you look this case up, you can see a famous image of her walking. She's looking down at books.
Yep.
In my mind, I picture like she's making this walk into this research building. She's already thinking about what she's going to be research. Like,
Oh, yeah,
she's just like, you can
absolutely.
tell a lot. Like, just from looking at that photo, you can see a lot of her
Very
personality.
driven young woman.
Yeah, she's like walking briskly and also like staring down at the books. I can just imagine she's already like trying to get a head start on
She's
the
reading
research.
that shit on the way there.
Right. And so there's this famous picture of it because this would end up being the final picture of Annie Lee.
Right.
And this was documented from the building's security cameras at the Amistad building.
Which there were a shit ton of.
There
which
were.
is important to
There
know.
were 75 cameras. The building and the area are monitored by about 75 security cameras, and the entrance to the building and the rooms inside the building require Yale ID cards in order to be open and accessed.
Right.
And that was one thing that, you know, there's a lot of reasons why this case got so much publicity, but I think a
Right.
big one was like it was just so shocking that such a secure school that something like this could happen. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
This
no
place was
average
basically
Joe.
a prison. You know,
Yeah.
the research that was going on in this building was really important stuff, as
Right.
we talked about. So you couldn't have people going in and out nilly-willy.
Right.
This was, you have an ID card, you get in if you are authorized personnel to go in there.
Right. Which would make
And every room within the building, sorry to cut you off, every room within the building needed an ID card. And like all your whereabouts were traceable. You know?
Right.
So what were you going to say?
I was going to say that's part of what made it so important was that it made it more personal because it had to be somebody on the inside. Not any average Joe was going to get through that many levels of security. There's no way they're making it down to that lab,
Right.
the research lab. They can't even get in the doors.
Yeah.
You know, so it made the case personal. It struck a fear amongst the the students mostly because they're like, this had to be personal.
Right.
Like this is a personal thing.
But
that
from
happened
a
here.
mass-
somebody we know or at least seen.
But from a mass scale, I think there was a lot of people that found it weird that this got so much media attention, but that's one of the main talking points that we'll get to at the end of the case. Some people were kind of like curious as to why this case in particular, but there are some reasons we'll break down.
Right.
So she gets seen on the security camera entering the building, and at approximately about 9 p.m. on that evening of September 8th, she still hadn't returned home. And this is at the point where her family is starting to wonder, classmates. She had 5 housemates, and one of them would end up calling police to report her missing because, you know, it wasn't like her to not be home by now.
Yeah. Like we talked about before, very
Very
systematic
disciplined.
person. Yeah.
Yeah, not someone that's just going to spur the moment, go out for a beer after
No.
research. You know, she's always got her mind on the right path type of thing. Days would pass as the police searched for her. No, there would actually end up being signs posted around the school, posted around town. There would be billboards put up with her face and a number to call for her whereabouts.
Right.
Something I think is important to note is that she was only 4'11" and 90 pounds, about as tiny as you can get for a full-grown adult. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, because they're so puzzled, I'm talking about the authorities here that get
Right.
involved when they hear that Annie's become missing. They're puzzled the fact that the security camera footage did not show her exiting the building. They see her enter the
Whoa.
building.
Yeah.
They don't see her leave the building. And during the time between her coming up missing, there's actually a fire alarm that gets pulled, and everyone's evacuating the building.
Right.
And they think maybe there's a chance she got lost in the shuffle, but they still don't think they saw her amidst the people coming out.
Wow.
We'll get more into the fact that the fire alarm got pulled and how it got pulled
Right.
shortly. But they would end up, because they don't see her leaving the building, they would end up closing the whole building for investigation.
Yeah, and they even searched the local dump, the Hartford dump,
Yeah.
just in case, maybe
They assume the worst.
worst case scenario.
Authorities,
She was
yeah.
taken out with the trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, old Barbara Della style.
Now, involved in this investigation would not only be the New Haven Police Department, but also the FBI and the Connecticut State Police. Now, Yale's playing their part as well. They would end up putting a $10,000 reward for information leading to Leigh's whereabouts. You want to go into what was found in the building?
Right. So it wasn't too long after this that bloody clothes were found above a ceiling tile in the building. This is the Amistad Street building.
Now, it's not clear to me whether the ceiling tile was broken. I think I read that it was like the ceiling tile was missing, or it was on the ground or something. Something led them to look up in the ceiling tile, and they would find bloody clothes up in there, which would end up being a big break.
It could have leaked through a little bit.
The blood
could have soaked because it's just like those light foam those ceiling tiles are made out of. It's like super.
They're
light.
real easy to break.
Yeah, perforated type.
Yeah.
So yeah, it could soak into there for sure.
Yeah.
Make a nasty stain.
Guess it would depend on how much blood or what, who knows. I mean, but either way, they would find these bloody clothes up in the ceiling tile. This would end up being a big break in the case because it's like, okay.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, she's probably not just missing. This didn't get here by just weird circumstances.
Exactly.
And 5 days later, after her coming up missing, the mystery would come to an end as the police would find Leigh's body down in the basement of the research facility, tucked away in a cable chase, which I guess is like some kind of a door where like the cables for
it's where the cables, the wires, everything's running down through, and
it's a very small little box that you can open up. It's got a control panel, and it's not much room for body in there. I've read some reports that say it's as small as like a computer monitor screen as far as the width of it.
No freaking way.
Yeah, and there would end up being. There would be an autopsy done. Some sources say that, I don't know if they're just trying to be dramatic. They say that it required her bones being broken to get her body put in there, which would say something even more about the killer. That's just morbid and the heights that he would go to try and.
Well, if it's the size of a monitor screen, yeah. I mean, it's going to.
I mean, we said she was small
to get in there. Still,
yeah.
Still, even 4'11". You're talking like a 15-inch monitor screen. That's pretty intense.
Right. The Connecticut medical examiner's autopsy would find that Leigh's death was due to a traumatic asphyxia. I struggle with that word. Asphyxia due to neck compression. So she was basically strangled to the point that there was traumatic asphyxia done there. So a violent strangling would be the cause of death. Due to the high security measures in the building, authorities and Yale officials maintained that it would be extremely difficult for someone without a Yale identification card to enter the basement laboratory where Leigh's body was discovered.
Dum, dum, dum.
Right. So they know that they need to narrow their search down to basically people that are in the building, people that can get in.
Anybody with an ID card.
Anybody with an ID card is going to have a real microscope over them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they start looking into it. They start noticing a trend in the swipes of the ID cards because, like I said, going in and out of every room, going into the building initially, you swipe your ID card. Yep. There's a record of that.
Right.
And one thing they noticed is that Leigh had entered into the basement facility where the animals were kept.
Right.
And swiped her card, went in there. She never swiped to get out.
Yep.
It was swiped to get into a room, swiped to get out of a room. She swiped to get in. Didn't swipe to get out. Not long after her, someone swiped the card to get into the room.
Oh.
So there was someone in that room at the same time as her.
Right.
This would lead them to focus on Yale employees and students, as we mentioned.
Right.
On September 16th, the police would bring in a man by the name of Raymond Clark III. He was a 26-year-old laboratory technician. He had been working in the building when Leigh disappeared. They had obtained a warrant to collect a DNA sample from him. We had alluded to someone had gone into the room right after her and used his ID card. This was Raymond Clark III that had used his ID card. And he had not only used his ID card to get in to the room right after her, where she never left, but he also had used his ID card all over the place that night in rooms that he didn't normally use. They said up to 10 times he'd used his ID card to go in and out of these rooms down in the basement.
I think he was just creating an alibi.
I think he didn't think this through enough, I guess.
Looking for stuff, maybe, afterwards, looking for supplies.
Probably trying to cover his tracks.
Supplies.
Yeah, trying to cover his tracks. I think it's maybe partially a crime of passion, but it might have been a little bit premeditated as well. But I think things get out of hand, you know?
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, what did I just do?
Right.
You know, and like now I'm scrambling to try and cover my tracks. And in the meantime,
I'm going to go in all these rooms and think about it.
Right. I'm going to set off a fire alarm,
which
which we had alluded to earlier. This idiot set off a fire alarm because that is one thing you could do with your ID card is when you swipe your ID card, I guess there was a feature with the swiping mechanism that would, if you did it wrong, you could set off a fire alarm. He did that. And so talk about scrambling and panicking.
Right.
I guess after the fire alarm had been set off, the authorities, of course, show up. The fire department shows up, and the fire department, and one of the people that work for the fire department, one of the, what do you call those people?
Firefighters?
Firefighters. Sorry,
Damn, Lord.
I had a hell of a brain fart there. One of the firefighters that actually spoke to Raymond Clark and commented later that he seemed real panicked and seemed like a dipshit, basically.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And so the police would bring him in with a strong suspicion that he was involved in this, and they would obtain a DNA sample from him because they had some stuff like the clothes from up in the ceiling tile that we had brought up. They now have her body.
Right. And there was also a pin laying in there with her body as well that had his blood on it, I believe.
Yeah, there was a pen that was down in like a crevice somewhere. He had dropped it. It was his signature pen. It was like a green signature pen that he was known for. And he another dumb mistake. He dropped it down, and there was actually proof that he had tried to go back and get that pen out, and he would use like a piece of wire and a fish hook to try and get this stupid pen out.
Wow.
And he left that shit behind too.
Right. Wasn't there also some of his semen on the scene as well?
Yeah. Well, the clothes that were tucked away with the blood, I believe there was semen there.
Okay.
Yeah. So, or at least DNA quotes. Yeah. I don't know if I saw the word semen, but DNA.
It's semen.
Right. It's a pretty safe assumption.
Pretty safe.
Yeah. There's a lot of speculation here because he wouldn't. We'll get to it, but he really didn't tell us what happened. So.
Exactly.
The following day, September 17th, the police would arrest Raymond. He was at a Motel 8 with his father. I don't know why. Maybe planning some kind of a ditch from town.
Right.
But the police weren't going to let it happen. They'd actually surrounded the hotel in anticipation of getting a warrant. So they had the Motel 8 surrounded in case he tried to take off. And the second they got that warrant, they got him.
Boom.
Yeah.
Old Dad couldn't bail you out.
Yeah, so his DNA, like we mentioned, was found on the bloody clothes. And there were surgical gloves found up in that ceiling tile as well that had his DNA on them. So
why didn't he throw it away?
Where though? In the trash for the trash that's going to stay in the facility. Like you kind of mentioned,
it's better than hiding it though. It's way more inconspicuous if you just throw it in the trash can with the other trash. Throw it in the biohazard bin that they inevitably have.
I think it's important to note that this guy, he was no lay. He was no Annie Lay here as far as intelligence goes.
He's no next Einstein.
He wasn't going there as a student. He worked as an animal researcher.
Right.
Or not even an animal researcher. He was an animal. He tended to the animals' cages. He kept the animal facilities clean, that type of thing, almost like a janitor for the animals.
Yeah, but I don't think it takes a brainiac to get rid of the shit with blood on it.
What would you do?
I would just throw it away.
Yeah, but then they're going to look in the trash.
Or bleach it. You inevitably got bleach and all kinds of shit in there. Dump it in a barrel with some bleach.
That is a good point. You're in a research
Wring
facility.
it out.
There's probably some chemicals that
and
could
then throw it in the
shit.
trash.
I'm thinking Breaking Bad.
It's got all the chemicals.
Put it in a barrel.
Throw it in a barrel and let it disintegrate.
Burn it?
Bury the
There's
barrel
got to be
in
a
the
way
desert.
you could burn clothes and gloves inside of it.
Yeah.
Then he'd probably set off the fire alarm again.
Butane burners and all that shit.
He'd probably set off the fire alarm
Bunsen
again.
burners.
But maybe that's how he set off the fire alarm. He was trying to burn something. I don't know. Now we're speculating too much.
Okay. Well, he didn't tell us. It's his own damn fault. If he didn't want people speculating about it, he should have came clean about everything.
Well, getting rid of that shit or not, it wouldn't matter because he also had blood that were on his lab boots, and it happened to be Lay's blood. So.
And he had his name written in his lab boots too.
Right.
It said Ray. What?
Right.
Racy.
Yeah, Racy. So, who was Raymond Clark III? It's hard to tell. There's not a whole lot of backstory on him aside from he had some posts on social media, him with his dog and such. He seemed like a normal person. You look at his online persona, you hear people talk about him. For the most part, they said he seemed like most time he was cool, but he also had a controlling side to him, and he had a temper as well.
Right. Yeah.
As described by coworkers and students at the school would mention that one of the things he would do is he was real obsessed with the cleanliness of the lab. If people weren't wearing the booties on their feet, he would freak out. It wasn't a normal reaction. It wasn't hey, you don't got booties on. It was,
what the fuck? Where's your booties?
Yeah. Lose his mind type shit. Freak out over small details type of guy.
Yeah.
And there was actually, after this whole thing went down, we talked about how there's a lot of media coverage. He would actually have an ex-girlfriend named Jessica De La Roca, who would go on Good Morning America and talk a lot about him and like she said the
Oh, wow.
relationship. Yeah, I watched the interview. I think it was Martha, whatever her name is, on Good Morning America.
Stewart?
No.
No.
Here's some cookies.
Tell me about Raymond.
Yeah, tell me about it, Raymond. Can you cook? I just made some chicken fries. Here you go. Chicken fries?
Chicken
This is Burger
fries.
King?
What the fuck?
Sorry, it's late. I'm drinking beer. So Jessica Del Rocco, the ex-girlfriend, will go to Good Morning America and talk a little bit about Raymond James Clark. And she would say that it was a perfect relationship at first. Like, you know, he was romantic and this and that.
Right.
And then much like a lot of relationships, it went sour when he started getting real controlling. He wanted
Possessive,
to know.
yeah.
Possessive. He wanted to know where she was going, who she was going to be hanging out with. He wanted to tell her how to talk, like in public, like don't say this, don't say that.
Right, yeah.
That type of thing. Even like down to like what she could wear type of thing.
Yeah.
And then in the interview, it got weird because, you know, Martha's pressing her, Martha Stewart, that is.
Oh.
And Jessica would say that it got physical and like borderline scary physical at one point, but she didn't want to talk about it. She just kind of was like, it's the police told me not to talk about it. So could she be making this up to get herself some TV
Right.
time, some media? I don't know,
Exactly.
because I mean Raymond James Clark was locked up at this time, and he doesn't really get his side to tell. Well, I was never physical or whatever, but
Right.
the fact that she doesn't say what happened is a little weird because I
Yeah.
don't think the police were telling her not to say anything. I just
No, that
don't-
would just help their case, probably.
exactly. It doesn't matter at that point. He was already locked up. He wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah,
So
that is weird. She just wanted a little limelight.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, the guy did kill a girl, so
Maybe.
allegedly.
Right.
No, pretty much he did it.
Yeah, he killed her.
So, like we said, the ex-girlfriend went on there and talked about it. After his arrest, Clark would be held on a $3 million bail at the McDougal Walker Correctional Facility Institute maximum security prison in Suffield, Connecticut. He would spend the next 18 months behind bars, denying that he ever killed Annie, awaiting trial. He had planned the whole time with his lawyers to plead innocent at trial. He didn't think they had enough. However, he would change his tune. In March of 2011, Clark would end up entering a guilty plea in Lee's murder in exchange for a 44-year prison term.
That's too light.
Right?
That's just too light for this dude.
It is. I mean, to me, it's clear that he at least attempted a sexual assault on her
Right.
and that he killed her. And why give someone like that a plea deal when you've already got them dead to rights?
Yeah.
Why not just go to trial? Why let him take a plea deal? I mean, it's up to them, right? It's not
Also-
up to him. So why?
Right.
What do they have to gain from
it
it?
shouldn't be
They didn't get any
anything-
details. Like, at least with a plea
Yep.
deal, I feel like the case we did last week,
Yeah. With Bob Berdella, where he came
Bob
clean
Berdella.
with everything.
you at least get to a little understanding of, like, you get to think about it later, like, okay, what drove this guy? This is how it went down. Like, we get all the
Right.
information. Maybe we can learn from this.
That's what I was saying earlier, you know, when Lauren was like, oh, we can't speculate, but like we kind of have to on a lot of this case because
It's frustrating. It is,
yeah.
especially when a guy gets a plea deal and you don't even
yeah,
get
it's
to know
like,
what happens.
why not just tell us what happened?
Right.
Tell us what the fuck your problem was that night.
His ego, I think. His ego.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he wanted people to maybe assume better in him.
Yeah.
If they don't know what happened, maybe there'd be speculation. And there is a lot of speculation. You can go on
There
YouTube
is
and
speculation.
stuff. With this case, it's annoying because there's a lot of conspiracy involved. It's like, what really happened? There's some YouTube videos on it that is just
Right.
like, dude,
What if somebody stole his card?
right, but why? That's my question. But why?
Why not? He was
To me, the real story is just way more believable. Who would have to gain from killing Annie?
an animal
That's
rights
what you have to
activist
ask yourself.
killing a scientist. That
That is a lot of
experiments on animals?
speculation. So now we can start talking. Well, let's get through, the way this went down. 44 years in prison. At the time that he pleaded guilty, he was 26 years old, and he will be basically scheduled to be released by the time he's 70. So
Too light.
not life, but what's he going to be doing at 70 if he does make it to there? Let's hope that he gets prison justice, I'm going to say.
Wow. Or he just dies in there. Just old age.
Cancer would be cool.
Cancer would
That's
be
the one
cool.
time cancer's cool, is if a scumbag
Okay.
gets it. You know what I'm saying? That killed somebody else.
Yeah, okay, I guess so. Because we can't cure it because Annie Lay's dead.
Exactly. Wouldn't that be ironic?
That would be ironic.
She could have cured the cancer that killed you, bro, but you killed her. Boom. Mic drop.
Justice.
while Clark expressed great remorse at his sentencing, he offered no explanation for the attack and no motive was ever given.
I think he's embarrassed of it, honestly. If he's the killer, if his life isn't be threatened by some crazy
What's fucked up is he
conspiracy
sat
theory
there at his trial, and when he pleaded guilty, and he sits there and he gives this apology, and like, you know, he's all remorseful and like
Right.
emotional,
Yeah.
and yet he won't tell him why he did it or how he did it. Some of the family may not want to hear how he did it, but at least it's there if they do want to know what
Well,
happened to their daughter. Was
then
it
again-
was it a long? I think families want to know whether their family members suffered. How long did this ordeal take? You know that.
But Raymond he didn't strike me as the sociopath type person that would be able to do that in front of her family and give that. You know how like Bob Berdella, for instance, he thrived off of it. It was easy for him.
Yeah.
But Raymond probably acted out in anger or just overwhelming desire of some sort. Just he couldn't, you know, and then the anger probably just took it over the top.
Right.
And he acted out then. He's still a human. He still sees these people's hurts. He's still sorry that he took her life,
Do you think so?
but he just went too far. Yeah, I don't think he's a killer. I don't think he went out he don't think he intended on killing her. I think she was just wrong place, wrong time, probably denied his advances.
You really think it was the wrong place, wrong? I think.
He had a
I think there was
shitty
I think there was premeditation to this one. I really do. I think he was.
I mean, yeah, he may have targeted her, but I don't
Now let's
think he targeted to kill her.
You know,
No.
I think
He's probably always had a crush on her coming in there, you know, the smart, young, successful woman who's coming in here and, you know, working with these animals that you're cleaning up after.
yeah,
You know, it's kind of got
some
that.
envy.
Yeah. He could
potentially.
have built up the way that, you know, their relationship's supposed to start in his head.
Right.
And it just didn't turn
Maybe
out
he
that
saw
way.
himself as someone as smart as her, and you know, it just didn't work out for him, and she
Maybe.
was everything he wanted to be, or maybe he found her sexually attractive. There's a lot of different motives. We can get into some of them. He was an animal technician. He cleaned the cages and tended to the animals. She was the researcher that was
Right.
researching these animals. There's talk also that, you know, maybe he was an animal rights activist,
Yeah.
and she's testing on these
Testing
animals,
animals,
using these
yeah.
animals for research. Maybe there's perhaps some of that there.
Yeah.
There's also talk about email and text exchanges between Ray and Annie. Basically, him wanting to have a meeting with her about her leaving the cages for the mice and rats filthy. And he had a problem with it. He wanted to have a meeting
She's
with
like,
her about
because
it.
I'm the doctor, bitch.
That's where the premeditation to me comes in.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
He's getting fed up. He's like, I'm getting tired of you not cleaning up the shit.
Perhaps, or maybe this was his means to get
And he
her
just-
in a room alone. I'm going to have a meeting
Well,
with
you know what? If he loses his shit over some slippers or some booties, who knows? If this was like a reoccurring thing that just kept getting to him,
Maybe it was maybe he was just a
Maybe
creep and
he
he was
just acted
sexually attracted to her, and this was his means to get alone with her. Though
Yeah,
I'm gonna have a
that's
meeting.
true.
We're gonna have a meeting
the
about
semen throws all that
'cause he's
shit
the-
out the window. My theory.
Yeah,
Yeah, the semen makes it sexual, obviously.
if there were semen.
You don't think there was semen there?
I didn't read semen.
I read semen on multiple things. What are you talking about? Okay, enough about the semen.
I agree. Basically, at trial, on an additional charge of attempted sexual assault, he would end up entering the Alfred plea, which to me points to the obvious indication
Yeah.
that he did sexually assault her.
I'm not
He-
saying I'm guilty, but I'm not saying all that shit you brought up about me was wrong.
Right. So basically, the Alfred plea, if you're not familiar, which I wasn't up until this case,
Yeah, me either.
is a guilty plea in which the party does not admit to the facts but concedes to the evidence placed against them.
Right.
So it's like, you got me.
What's
It's
the-
checkmate. I'm not
Yeah.
going to say how I fucked up, but,
Yeah.
you know, I have no real response that can prove you otherwise.
Exactly.
Type of thing. So I concede, basically, to your sexual assault and rape charge.
Exactly.
And that basically is where his story ends. They lock him up. He's currently serving his sentence at the Cheshire Correctional Institute as an inmate number 371189. He's just given a number now.
Damn.
He's not even Raymond Clark anymore. He's just basically
Just
that
a
number.
number.
He's scheduled for his release, however, and then he get his name back in 2053, which is a bummer because he, you know, Annie Lee doesn't get any of that. That's it. All the
Right.
potential, it's all gone out the window just because of his selfishness for whatever reason. Whatever the motive was, you know, we can sit here and speculate all day. He hasn't come out and said why. Was it anger over her not keeping the, animal cages clean? Was it something to do with he didn't believe in them doing this research on these animals? Maybe he grew to love these animals he was around all the time down there, and he
animals?
despised
Like
them
mice?
working on them. Who knows? Maybe it was purely unadulterated, just lust and wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think he maybe even been in love with her. Who knows?
Maybe
Sees her every day.
he could have
down
been
there
the
and-
delusional type that's
and thought, man, if I can't have her, nobody can have her.
right. Maybe
You never know. It could be.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that's extreme.
Right.
That's extreme. But
The real conversation this leads to is, though, the backlash in the media that ensued as far as this story is concerned, how much media attention it garnished,
yeah,
and was it warranted?
there were many murders just like this.
Right, in
At
smaller
other-
schools,
maybe
a less pretty girl, maybe
not
a
Ivy League.
maybe not such an accomplished
Right.
scholar.
Exactly.
I think it was a perfect storm of things in this case that made it such a big deal. She was a pretty young girl who was deemed the next Einstein, one of two people in her high school class,
Right.
given $160,000 in scholarship money, basically on the fast track to changing the world potentially, or being one of many people that help change the world and cure
right.
cancer and that type of thing. And then the fact that it's Yale, it's a big name school, and it's in a facility that is locked down like Fort Knox,
Yep.
like a maximum security prison, 75 security cameras.
Right. Key card entry,
card
different
entry.
clearances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got the guy that's cleaning the rat cages that ends up killing someone with so much potential. And then the topic comes in, because we already talked about this case.
Right.
Do you feel it's right that because she was such a so-called important person moving forward, that it garners more attention than just your average Joe? Like me and you, we just go do a normal job. Anybody could do it.
Right.
If we die, is it less of a big deal than someone who's going to maybe cure cancer? I lean, yeah.
I mean, in a way, yeah. And I know it's bigger deal to the news because it's a story that people want to hear. And then why is it a story people want to hear? Because we value people like her.
Yeah.
A lot. I mean, people that could have changed, could have cured, right now, diseases that are lifelong cancers.
Debilitators.
Yeah.
Family changers.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, she's somebody who could have really made an impact on society. So I feel like naturally
She was someone that
We feel that
seemingly,
way
on the
because-
surface, always did the right thing.
Right.
And yet it still got taken from her in such a unnecessary. It's unsatisfying as someone who doesn't know her, just think that some dude,
Yeah.
regular guy, can just come in and take everything, all the hard work she
Right.
put in.
We're
and
not saying that one human life is worth more than the other,
right.
but your team hurts more when your starting quarterback is injured than your second string left tackle.
Well, to stick on football, we keep coming back to football. O.J. Simpson, amazing athlete, became a celebrity. Is his life more valuable, or his wife's? The whole thing blew up because he had a name and because he was doing things that other normal people don't do. That was Annie Lay in the
Right.
scholar world.
That's right.
She had endless bounds. There wasn't too many people that were more accomplished to that point, where she was only 24 years old. Bright future ahead of her, and
Exactly.
it's taken. And afterwards, Yale would have a lot of there'd be a lot of conversations with students and the Yale faculty about what can we do to further security, and ultimately the answer was not much. I mean, that's what's really another thing that's shocking about the story, is like shit like this can happen no matter how many precautions you take.
That's right.
This school was just about as safe as you could get for the time in 2009. I mean, there's not much else they could do. The hiring process, he didn't have any background. We didn't talk about this, but he had no prior convictions. There was no signs pointing to this guy.
Right.
You look at his social media presence, it's just him smiling with his dog, and just seemingly a normal person. Yeah, he had his little outbursts at work, but don't we all?
Right.
But all in all, there wasn't much Yale could have done to prevent this, and moving forward, there wasn't much more they could do. I mean, you can't have a security guard for every room inside your facility.
Right.
So,
And for the record, I don't really have outbursts at work.
yeah, you do. I work with you.
I'm by myself most of the day.
Yeah, I get phone calls.
I'm not outbursting.
Yeah,
I'm just bitching to someone.
right. Yeah, so just to wrap this one up, it's a short but sweet episode. I haven't heard too many other podcasts. I think I've seen one other podcast cover this, and it was only about 15 minutes. It's a good episode.
Right.
But it's just a case that when I first read into it, I don't know what it was. It just captured me, and I think that's why it became such a big story. It's just an accumulation of things. You see the photo of her walking into that building and never coming out. You hear how amazing of a person she was. I mean, we talked about how good of a student and everything she was, but also she beloved by her family. Was really fun to be around, a sweet person. Really didn't seem to have any downsides to her personality.
Right.
And it's just, unfortunate.
All right, man. Well, let's wrap this up. I mean, not much else can be said, and it's kind of bumming me out.
Yep.
And I'd like to let's get some shouts, some mentions, some creeper giveaway.
Hashtag creeper giveaway. You guys really showed up. The creepers showed up for the hashtag creeper giveaway over the last month. We got so many freaking awesome submissions. We got a whole list here. I hope I got everybody. You're not going to know. We're putting everybody's name in a list except for one, because we've got one that's flat out just going to get headphones right now because it was our favorite submission. But like I said, awesome submissions all around. You want to talk about all of them in general, or just go into the one that was our favorite and then go into the rest? You want to do this?
Let's go ahead and announce the winner of the headphones, for sure.
All right, I'm going to do the drum roll. You say the person's name.
Kristen Goldbranson.
The drawing that she made was impressive. It was awesome. It captured I feel like it captured our essence.
Yeah.
With like a pencil. It's amazing.
It was pretty cool.
It's basically our heads sticking out of the creeper van. It's rad. She's very talented.
Yeah.
It was definitely, she put some time into it. I don't know. Maybe she can draw so amazing that it took like 5 minutes, or maybe it took her all day. I don't know. Either way, I'm amazed. I still look at that picture and just like smile, like, damn, how the hell did she capture our faces and like our smile and everything so well? It was just awesome. So Kristen Goldbranson, thank you for that. And you are getting some Kicker headphones sent to you in the mail. Just to run through a bunch of these other awesome submissions. At 7Deer on Twitter, I hope I said your name correctly. She buried herself like a corpse under a bunch of leaves and like had makeup on. It looks it's creepy as shit.
You can see part of her arm coming out of the soil.
Yeah, and the side of her face, and it looks all bruised and like decaying almost.
Right.
Creepy as shit. I actually thought it was a corpse when it first popped up on our timeline. Awesome submission. You are going in the hat. Well, I should say we've got basically a horror mask here that we put all the submissions into, written down on papers, and we were going to draw from. You are in there. Aaron Craig sent us several submissions. Aaron's awesome. He had cut up a creeper, basically like from like Minecraft, a Minecraft creeper. He cut it up.
Yeah.
Put ketchup around it on his kitchen floor. Also, he had his son build like a big creeper castle. Out of Legos. He said it took him like days to build this thing, so that's awesome as well. Several submissions from him. He goes into the giveaway mask.
Right, giveaway mask.
Sorry, I had another brain fart. Shannon Lamb, always there for us. She sent in multiple submissions.
Yeah, she did the one where she put me, you, Josh, and her. And it was like the final four, with the skulls from Bordella.
From Bob's Bazaar.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had she put together a picture with the skulls from the Bazaar, the final four.
Yeah.
And like had our faces matched up on there.
Presumably where the final four is skulls.
Yeah. Yeah, so
dun, dun, dun.
That was awesome. She also had several other submissions as well. Shannon's always out there. Josh,
Thanks,
her friend, who was also in the final four picture, sent in a picture of him wearing a Keep Creepin' tee.
Hell yeah.
With the Creeper Van t-shirt. It's so awesome. I'm seeing some of those pictures pop
Kansas
up.
City people rep hard, y'all.
Dude, the other cities are struggling. I don't know.
No, we actually
have
a shit ton of downloads in Texas. They're just being quiet over there.
Yeah.
Where you at, Texas?
Yep. I'm calling you out. Educated Jest, also from KC. Shocker.
Oh, geez.
She also wanted it known that she suggested Bob Bordella as well as
and Josh did as well.
Yeah, so
Josh was actually first, I believe.
Well, either way,
Yeah.
Educated Jest, Josh, thank you guys for submitting Bob Bordella. I think it was one of our favorite episodes to record. People seem to love it. We've had people say that they listened 4 times already.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. But Shannon, we're taking your credit away.
Why is that?
Because she said she didn't suggested.
Oh, Shannon. Okay, you're out of the hat.
You're out of the hat, Shannon. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm ripping it up.
Wow.
You're done. I'm just kidding. You're still in there. Okay, Andrea N. She emailed a video of her daughter freaking out over a scary VR video. That was pretty freaking awesome. I enjoyed that video thoroughly.
That's
I was
always
laughing.
fun. That's more fun than actually doing VR. It's just watching people do VR.
Yeah. Andrea, you're in the hat. Kristen, you would be in the hat, but you already got headphones. Katie Peterson, dude, one of my favorites. You were very close to just straight up getting them.
Very
just from
close.
the work you put in, and I just really, she made this drawing of like the campsite from the Gitchy murder scene. She incorporated like each episode in there, like Randy Kraft was in there.
Like his scorecard was in there.
Yeah, it was really well done, and she actually like laminated it and sent it to us, which it definitely hanging on the wall in the studio now. So she's in the hat, and I'm just gonna run through more of these. We got Sydney Blue Green, repping the True Crime Guys mug. Laura Talaska, Sinaho, Brittany Schultz. Peeking in the shower, sent us a picture of her peeking in the shower. I don't know who was in there, but she was creeping. Mm-hmm. She's in the hat. Gerard Henson, Clouds Cartel, Spacey Lacey, Laura L. Juice, one of my favorite submissions. She sent a photo compilation. This is actually more serious, but she loved our Richard Ramirez episode, The Night Stalker, because she's a local. She lives in L.A., and I guess she walks by a cemetery all the time where several of the victims of Richard Ramirez were. So she sent us a picture of like the headstones, and like she went and paid her respects to some of the Richard Ramirez.
It just brings such a realism to the story, doesn't it?
Oh man, it's yeah, it kind of hit me hard. I was like, whoa, that's some serious shit.
Yeah.
But great submission. Thank you, Laura. You're in the hat. Bella and Baby, True Crime Happy Hour, Bree-tastic, Michaela's mom, among others, are in the hat. I'm sorry, it goes on and on. We didn't forget you. I spent some time today on the flight home from Georgia just scouring all of our social medias outlets and our email and just anywhere you could have sent us a picture. And if you sent us a picture using that hashtag, you were in the hat. I'm going to draw from it. Or do you want to do the honors?
No, go ahead. Go ahead, man.
No, I want you to do it.
You want me to do it?
Pick
All right.
the winner. If
Here we go.
whoever doesn't get it can be mad at you now.
Oh, what the hell?
Here we go.
It is Brittany Schultz.
Brittany Schultz. Oh shit, she's a true creeper. Brittany Schultz, you're getting headphones.
She is a hardcore creeper, though.
These headphones we are wearing right now, they're awesome. Brittany, you are getting them.
Do we need their addresses again? You tell me.
As well as Kristen Gelbranson. I do believe both of them have already bought stickers. We can go through our email and find their addresses, and they will be getting headphones.
Hell yeah. You guys are going to love
So
these.
thank you once again to everybody that was involved in this giveaway, to everybody that submitted stuff. It was just awesome to see the pictures. I'm thinking I might make a little gallery of them on our website, truecrimeguys.com.
Right.
I'm going to try and put a little gallery up. Don't be looking for it in the next day or so. I'm going to work on it so that everybody can, whoever can go see the submissions from everybody, because it was really cool. And I want to thank kicker.com once again for just being so cool to send us 4 sets of headphones. Yeah, it was really cool. And go check out their website, kicker.com. They got great audio stuff, cars, personal use,
Subwoofers, power amps, all that good stuff.
everything you could ever want. So yeah, that's the Creeper giveaway. It's been fun.
It has been fun. I can't wait to do something else like this.
Yeah, hit us up if
That'd
you.
be cool.
We also now have a PO box. Hit up Michael or myself on any social media outlet, and we will send us a DM, and we'll send you the PO box if you want to send us some shit. I think we have some Royal jerseys coming in from Kansas City.
Yeah, hell yeah, Kansas.
Yeah,
Getting that Hosmer jersey.
And if you're some kind of a small business and you got some shit that you want to get out there, send it to us. We'll talk about it.
Hell yeah.
Unless it sucks, then we won't talk about it. But
all right. Do you want to plug our new our new business venture?
Yeah, man, I hate asking people for money, but
I know.
it's just not. It's against my nature. But as much time and effort as we put into the show, it's just and
it's a second job.
It is. It's become a second job, and we're not asking for.
But we love it though.
We do love doing it. So what's better than to get paid for doing something you love that you put a ton of work into? We have now started a Patreon page. We've had people ask if we had one before and when we were going to get one. We finally got it going, man. I finally sat there and worked on it for a little while, and we came up with some good little rewards for people if they want to contribute to the show. If you don't, here's the thing. You're still going to get 3 episodes a month. We can't as much as we can do we're going to try and do an episode every week as we have been trying to do since December. And we've pretty much succeeded with the exception of we missed one episode, right?
Yep.
So we try to do an episode every week, and we're still going to do an episode every week. And 3 out of the 4 of them you're going to get for free no matter what. If you don't have the money to support our Patreon, that's fine. You're still a creeper. We still love every listener.
Absolutely.
It's awesome, but we're basically going to be doing one premium episode. 1 out of the 4 episodes we record every month will be a premium episode.
Exactly.
And you can basically hear that by going to our Patreon page and supporting $2 a month. Get you the premium episode, and you will have every episode we record for $2 a month. And but there's also some other perks on there. For $5 a month, you will get the premium episode. You'll get some bonus content, so like just some dumb shit that we record that we end up cutting. That
There's a shit ton of it.
there's a lot of it for us. We edit a lot more than I'd like to admit. And the show's still this shitty. So yeah, you'll get the bonus recordings and like just random stuff that we just whatever.
Right.
And you'll also get a golden creeper sticker.
Oh.
Very-
Can I have one?
Very prestigious. No, dude, $5
Dude,
a month, bro.
On my laptop, bro. Right here.
No, you get the basic.
That's-
Basic creeper sticker.
Still basic.
Still
bitch.
great, but it's not the golden creeper sticker.
Basic creeper.
$10 a month. You can actually have a Skype conversation. You get the creeper sticker. You get the bonus material and the premium episode. So
Yeah. I'm looking forward to doing that. That's gonna be fun.
yeah, I want to have conversations with you
Yeah,
guys. I just
sure.
want to pick your brain. Like, what got you into murder? Have you murdered?
Yeah. Have you murdered? Can you tell us your story if you have?
Yeah, what's
Would
your
like to be
favorite?
pretty exclusive with you in that way.
Yeah. All that shit and more. Like, what kind of dogs do you have? It really can go as long as the conversation takes it. Like, if you're
Yeah. Speaking of you drawing this shit out, let's get to some reviews so we before we don't get any more good ones.
right.
Okay. So word brain 19453606374.
There's no way that's their iTunes
I
name.
swear to God it is. From
Holy
the
shit.
US says 4 stars, good start.
Fair.
Fair enough.
That's fair.
So fair enough. So
I
we
feel
got,
like this is a 4-star podcast.
I think at the most. Let's see. Katie NB from Canada says, love it, 5 stars. And we got Caro Desert from the UK. Oh, cool. Yeah, she said, I stumbled across this podcast, quickly become addicted. Who
I
else?
got Louis Agar from the United States. Great motherfucking podcast.
Hell yeah.
5 stars. Love it. Anat Gima. Oh, that's Anat. That's the one that she buried herself in the leaves.
Oh, nice.
She said, if you love true crime, you'll love this podcast.
Oh,
that right?
nice. That's pretty cool, man. All right, so Wheezy H86 said quickly becoming a favorite, give a 5-star review. Educated Jest, and she said they listen to their listeners, which we do.
We try.
We do. We really
We really do try.
I think we do.
Yeah.
I mean, I really try to make a point, if and I keep it on my phone, and my wife's like, why the fuck is your phone going off all the time? And I'm like, because people want to talk to me.
People be creeping.
People be creeping,
And we
and I
creep back.
need to tell them that I love them.
We've been getting some creeping love on Snapchat. If you're not following our Snapchat, go follow True Crime Guys on Snapchat. We've been getting some real creeping
Snapchat's
stuff.
fun. It sucks because it's on Lauren's phone.
I know. You
need-
can log in, bro.
Yeah, I need to log in. I need to get some of that. Okay, dude, let's get through the rest of these.
Yep.
All right, I got LS Disa from the U.S. She'll have to review.
I got Jaden Shka. Sorry, that's like a bunch of letters jumbled together. The best from the United States of America. Thank you.
Excellent. UW Julie from the U.S.
Jack Meller, 1987 from the UK. Good content, terrible laugh. I agree.
Oh, thanks, bro. Chills Chambers from the U.S. Said fantastic.
J Dub from Australia. Nice one. Keep it up.
Nice. You got the rest
I
of
love it. That's not a knife. This is a dango. We got
Jesus.
Diamond Nichols, 1960 from the UK. We're getting some love over in the UK.
Yeah, hell
And
yeah.
It could be Northern Ireland. I mean, it's just
Oh,
UK.
thank you. Either way, we don't.
I don't know
care.
how it works over there. Love this podcast though. Thank you.
Thank you.
We got Big Nasty 1874 from the United States.
Big Nasty.
Kick-ass podcast. Big Nasty. Hey, that's a sick name. I wish that wasn't taken because I would go take it. Especially Big Nasty 1874. It sounds like he's been rocking that shit
Sounds
for
like
like
he's been nasty for
centuries.
Wow. All right.
And then Pooping Right Now. I didn't see this one until now. Love from the North Island 5-star. Oh my God, that might be the best iTunes name ever. Pooping Right Now.
Right now.
I love you. I love all of our listeners. If you want to follow us on social media, we are at True Crime Guys on pretty much all facets, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat,
Yeah.
True Crime
All
Guys.
that stuff. We out there.
True Crime Guys.
Go to the page. Oh, what are we going to do about T-shirts? Are T-shirts still available? Some of them are.
You know what?
some
We
of them
just got a
aren't.
suggestion from Surrender on a new website.
I checked it out. Looks kind of cool.
Yeah, so I think stay tuned. We're probably going to put out some more stuff. One thing I would like to say, since we keep giving all these options for you to give us money, is we always try to give you something. We're not just asking for money just straight up, like, send us money just to support us. Like, we try to give back. So, like, we're going to we put a lot of work into every episode, but as far as the Patreon episodes, like, it's going to be a little bit extra, We're going to keep doing great episodes every week, or at least we're going to try to do great episodes, but it's going to be a little bit, like next week, for instance. You want to give a little tease into who we're going to be doing for the first Patreon exclusive episode?
Some people might call him the Killer Clown.
The Killer Clown, John
Killer
Wayne
Clown.
Gacy.
Said that weird. The clown.
Some might call him the Killer Clown.
Some people call him the Killer Clown.
Yeah, so we'll see you next week. If you're gonna jump on Patreon, we'll see you next week. If not, we'll be back the following week with a free episode, and then a free episode, and then a free episode. Three in a row until I have my baby. Then there might be just like a 1 week break. We'll see.
Oh, nope.
I know the baby can't get in the way, right?
That's right.
Don't be cock blocking, baby.
Don't be.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Keep creeping.
Keep creeping.